Conjunctions.
I want to get a shirt and a skirt stitched.
When do you want to wear it?
I need it next week because it is my friend's birthday party.
I will try my best, but I have lots of work these days, so it may take a little longer to stitch your clothes.
Please don't take very long. I will not be able to attend the party unless I have my new dress.
In the dialogues, the girl and the tailor have used words that join two words or sentences together. The words and, because, but, so, unless are examples of conjunctions. Definition. A conjunction is a word that joins together two words or sentences. Let us look at few sentences. Anil and Meenal are walking together. It was a beautiful day for a picnic, since there was no possibility of rain. You must complete your homework or the teacher will punish you. In the first sentence, and is a conjunction as it joins together two names. In the next sentence, since is a conjunction as it joins together two sentences. In the third sentence, or is a conjunction joining two sentences. Here is a list of some conjunctions. Neither, nor, either, or, if, although, otherwise. I'm a teenager and my life is very stressful. I go to school and play sports and I play computer games with my friends. I hardly have time to relax. I do my homework, of course, but I don't read any extra books or newspapers for fun. I play the drums and I would like to join a band, but I don't have time to practice or rehearse. My schoolwork comes first and sports come second. Playing soccer is very important to me because it gives me energy. I'm always tired because I never get enough sleep. I usually stay up late because I have to finish homework. Or conjunctions and prepositions. I could not sleep until Sweetie reached home last night. Yes, Kamya was also late yesterday. When she was not home by 10 p.m., I also panicked. You should have called me. I didn't call you as it was quite late. I kept thinking the worst for 2 hours. I scolded Kamya a lot. I couldn't sleep during the night. In the dialogues, Nalini and Manisha have used conjunctions and prepositions to express themselves. Here are examples of sentences using conjunctions and prepositions. Conjunctions. I could not sleep until Sweetie reached home last night. I didn't call you as it was quite late. Prepositions. When she was not home by 10 p.m., I also panicked. I kept thinking the worst for 2 hours. I couldn't sleep during the night. Definition. Conjunctions are words that link other words, phrases, or clauses together. A preposition is a word, usually a short word, that shows the relationship between two other nearby words. Let us look at few sentences. I went out to help my friend, although I was very busy. Tanya doesn't like to be disturbed during the class. In the first sentence, although has been used as a conjunction, since conjunctions are words that link other words, phrases, or clauses together. In the second sentence, during has been used as a preposition, since preposition is a word, usually a short word that shows the relationship between two other nearby words. Here are few more examples of use of conjunctions and prepositions. Conjunction. She doesn't answer her phone while she is in office. I'm going home as it is late. Preposition. Ritu worked as a trainee during her summer holidays. Babita has been asked to quit office by next week. Although, though, even, though, in spite of, despite.
We went for morning walk today, even though it was very cold today. My mother also goes for a walk every morning, without fail, despite her advanced age. That is admirable. In spite of all the problems that old people face in winters, she has not given up the habit. That is true. I have not been able to develop the habit of going for a morning walk, although I have been trying for a long time. It requires immense determination.
In the dialogues, Meera and Myra have been using although, though, even though, in spite of, despite to express themselves. Here are examples of the use of although, though, even though, in spite of, despite. We went for morning walk today, even though it was very cold today. My mother also goes for a walk every morning, without fail, despite her advanced age. In spite of all the problems that old people face in winters, she has not given up the habit. I have not been able to develop the habit of going for a morning walk, although I have been trying for a long time. Definition. After although we use a subject plus verb, sometimes we use though instead of although. In spoken English, we often use though at the end of a sentence. Even though, but not even alone, is a stronger form of although. After in spite of or despite, we use a noun or pronoun, that is this, that, what, etc. or ing. Despite is the same as in spite of. Note that we say in spite of but despite, without of. Let us look at few sentences. Janvi did not submit the file, though the teacher asked her specifically to do so. They went for boating, despite the strong wind. Lena went on leave, even though her application for leave was not accepted. In the first sentence, though has been used with object and verb after it, although can also be used here. In the second sentence, despite has been used. It is followed by a noun. In spite of can also be used. In case. You must carry a raincoat in case it rains. It is sunny. I don't think it will rain, but in case it does, I have an umbrella. That is fine, but the weather here is very unpredictable. It can start raining heavily any time. In case of heavy rain, an umbrella is useless. You have to use a raincoat. I will keep a raincoat in my bag then. In the dialogues, Karuna and Bindu have made use of in case to express themselves. Here are examples of the use of in case. You must carry a raincoat in case it rains. I don't think it will rain, but in case it does, I have an umbrella. In case of heavy rain, an umbrella is useless. Definition. We use in case for a possibility. We use just in case for a smaller possibility. In case is not the same as if. We use in case to say why somebody does or doesn't do something. You do something now in case something happens later. You can use in case plus past, to say why somebody did something. In case of is not the same as in case. In case of is equal to if there is, especially in notices, etc. Let us look at a few sentences. I will complete my work today just in case the teacher asks for the copies tomorrow. In case of fire, please use the fire exit. I called out her name again in case she hadn't heard my voice the first time. In the first sentence, just in case has been used for a smaller possibility. In the second sentence, in case of has been used to mean if there is. It is not the same as in case. In the third sentence, in case has been used with past tense to say why somebody did something. Here are few more examples of the use of in case. You can leave without me in case I get late. In case of a storm, board all the windows. Please bring a water bottle with you just in case I forget to bring mine. Unless, as long as and provided or providing.
We will not be able to catch the train unless we hurry. We will reach just on time provided we don't have to wait for a taxi. I have called the taxi. It should be here any time, as long as the driver finds the address easily. If the taxi is on time, we will reach the station comfortably, providing that there is no traffic jam on the way. I'm sure we will manage to reach on time.
In the dialogues, Jagriti and Preeti have made use of unless, as long as, and provided or providing to express themselves. Here are examples of the use of unless, as long as, and provided or providing. We will not be able to catch the train unless we hurry. We will reach just on time provided we don't have to wait for a taxi. It should be here any time as long as the driver finds the address easily. If the taxi is on time, we will reach the station comfortably providing that there is no traffic jam on the way. Definition: unless is except if. We often use unless in warnings. Instead of unless, it is often possible to say if not. As long as or so long as, all these expressions mean if or on condition that. Provided that or providing that, all these expressions mean if or on condition that. When you are talking about the future, do not use will after unless or as long as or provided or providing. Use the present tense. Let us look at a few sentences. Radhika will not pass the exams unless she works hard. You can drive my scooter provided you drive it with care. You will not be able to do anything as long as you keep sleeping. In the first sentence, unless has been used for a warning. It means except if. In the second sentence, provided has been used to mean if or on condition that. In the third sentence, as long as has been used to mean if or on condition that. Here are few more examples of the use of unless, as long as, and provided or providing. We will never complete as, reason and time.
As I lay down on my bed last night, someone knocked on the door. So, what did you do? I was irritated. It always happens with me. As I lie down to sleep, something happens to disturb me. I didn't want to get up as I was feeling very sleepy. So, did you open the door? Yes, I did. As I was going towards the front door, my phone started ringing. It was my friend calling. She was standing outside the door as she waited for me to open it.
In the dialogues, Aisha and Saba have made use of as, reason and time to express themselves. Here are examples of the use of as, reason and time. As I lay down on my bed last night, someone knocked on the door. As I lay down to sleep, something happens to disturb me. I didn't want to get up as I was feeling very sleepy. As I was going towards the front door, my phone started ringing. She was standing outside the door as she waited for me to open it. Definition: as sometimes means because. You can use as when two things happen at the same time. As can be used to say that something happened as you were doing something else, which is in the middle of doing something else. Most often, we use as when two short actions happen at the same time. But we also use as when two things happen together over a longer period of time. You can also use just as exactly at that moment. Let us look at few sentences. Geeta ate the full plate of snacks as she was very hungry. As I was cooking food, I realized there was no salt. As the night progressed, it got colder. In the first sentence, as has been used for a reason. It means because. In the second sentence, as has been used to say that something happened as you were doing something else, in the middle of doing something else. In the third sentence, as has been used to mean two things happened together over a longer period of time. Here are few more examples of the use of as, reason and time. As we walked down the street together, we felt very happy. I didn't go for the party like and as.
My school has a fantastic building. It is like a castle. Is it as you expected it would be? Yes, it's just like a dream come true. I was mesmerized by its beauty as I walked around the grounds. As a new student, you must have found it even more beautiful. It is very beautiful. It is not like my previous school at all.
In the dialogues, Nalini and Manisha have used like and as to express themselves. Here are examples of sentences using like and as. It is like a castle. Is it as you expected it to be? Yes, it was just like a dream come true. I was mesmerized by its beauty as I walked around the grounds. As a new student, you must have found it even more beautiful. It is not like my school at all. Definition: like is similar to the same as. Note that you cannot use as in this way. Like can also be used as a preposition. When like is a preposition, it is followed by a noun, a pronoun or ing. You can also say like or somebody or something doing something. Sometimes like is for example. We use as, not like, before a subject plus verb. We also say as you know, as I said, as she expected, as I thought, etc. We say as usual or as always. As can also be a preposition, but the meaning is different from like. As preposition is in the position of, in the form of, etc. Let us look at a few sentences. I bought many beautiful fragrances like jasmine, lavender, sandal and rose. She looks like her mother. Jaspreet is late for school as usual. I became desperate for a taxi as it grew dark. In the first sentence, like has been used and it means for example. In the second sentence, like means similar to, the same as. Note that you cannot use as in this way. In the third sentence, as has been used with usual. It means as always. In the fourth sentence, as has been used before a subject plus as if.
I feel as if the clouds have engulfed me. You are right. In hill stations, when the mist comes, it looks as if the clouds have come down. When I told my sister this, she thought as if I had gone mad. Actually, you have to see to believe it.
In the dialogues, Lakshya and Anoop have made use of as if to express themselves. Here are examples of the use of as if. I feel as if the clouds have engulfed me. In hill stations, when the mist comes, it looks as if the clouds have come down. When I told my sister this, she thought as if I had gone mad. Definition. You can use as if to say how somebody or something looks or sounds or feels, etc. You can also say it looks or sounds or smells as if. You can use as if with other verbs to say how somebody does something. After as if, we sometimes use the past when we are talking about the present. Let us look at few sentences. It looks as if it is going to rain very heavily. They treat me as if I was their son. Even after twisting his foot, he continued to run as if nothing had happened. In the first sentence, as if has been used since you can use as if to say it looks, sounds, smells as if. In the second sentence, as if has been used since after as if we sometimes use the past when we are talking about the present. In the third sentence, as if has been used since you can use as if with other verbs to say how somebody does something. Here are few more examples of the use of as if. She sounds as if she is very worried. Despite the argument, I behaved as if everything was fine. For, during and while. It rained for 2 hours continuously last evening.
I was stuck in the market while it was raining. There was not any conveyance available during this period.
For how long were you stuck in the market?
I was there till it stopped raining.
I was also there in the market while it was raining. It stopped raining for few hours after that. Then I think it rained intermittently during the night as well.
You are right.
In the dialogues, Deepika and Veer have used for, during and while to express themselves. Here are examples of sentences using for, during and while. It rained for 2 hours continuously last evening. I was stuck in the market while it was raining. There wasn't any conveyance available during this period. For how long were you stuck in the market? I was also there in the market while it was raining. It stopped raining for a few hours after that. Then I think it rained intermittently during the night as well. Definition. We use for plus a period of time to say how long something goes on. For 2 hours, for a week, for ages. We use during plus noun to say when something happens, not how long. During the film, during our holiday, during the night. A time word, for example, the morning, the afternoon, the summer, you can usually say in or during. You cannot use during to say how long something goes on. We use while plus subject plus verb. When you are talking about the future, use the present, not will, after while. Let us look at a few sentences. The wedding festivities continued for 3 days. We went to Maldives during the summer vacations. I don't like any disturbance while I'm studying. In the first sentence, for has been used since we use for plus a period of time to say how long something goes on. Here, for is used with 3 days period of time. In the second sentence, during has been used since we use during plus noun to has when something happens and not how long. With a time word, for example, the morning, the afternoon, the summer, you can usually say in or during. Here during is used with summer. By and until by the time.
I have to reach home by 8 p.m. in the evening. I'm allowed to stay out until 10 in the night. That is great. In my home, everyone will be asleep by that time. Anyway, the party will be over by the time it is 8 o'clock. You are right. Also, by then most of the people will want to leave. I will also stay until you are there.
In the dialogues, Ritika and Sheena have used by and until by the time to express themselves. Here are examples of sentences using by and until by the time. I have to reach home by 8 p.m. in the evening. I'm allowed to stay out until 10 in the night. In my home, everyone will be asleep by that time. Anyway, the party will be over by the time it is 8 o'clock. Also, by then, most of the people will want to leave. I will also stay until you are there. Definition. By with the time is not later than. You cannot use until with this meaning. We use until or till to say how long a situation continues. Until. Something continues until a time in the future. By. Something happens by a time in the future. You can say by the time something happens. You can also say by then or by that time. Let us look at few sentences. By the time I reached school, the first period was over. We have to complete the project by next Friday. I won't come to the park to play until the exams are over. In the first sentence, by the time has been used since we can say by the time something happens. Here we say by the time with something that happened, that is, I reached school. In the second sentence, by has been used since by with a time is not later than. We use by when something happens by a time in the future. Here by has been used with next Friday time. In the third sentence, until has been used since we use until to say how long a situation continues. We use until when something continues until a time in the future. Here, until has been used with a time in the future, that is, the exams are over. Here are few more examples of use. Prepositions.
Rishabh, bring me the bag on the table. Okay. It is very heavy. It has some mangoes. A fruit seller was selling them near my school. I'm going to the market with my friend. Do you need anything from the market? Yes, please bring me a packet of chips.
In the dialogues, the boy and the girl have used words that tell us about the position of the noun or pronoun in front of which they are placed with another word in the sentence. The words on, inside, near, to, with, from, of are examples of prepositions. Definition. A preposition is a word that is positioned before a noun or a pronoun in a sentence and tells about its relation with another word in the sentence placed nearby. Let us look at a few sentences. The dog jumped over the railing. Tina kept the photographs under her pillow. The book has been written by my friend. In the first sentence, over is a preposition as it is positioned before the noun, railing, and tells its relationship with another noun, dog. In the next sentence, under is a preposition as it comes before the noun below and speaks about its relation with another nearby word in the sentence photographs. In the third sentence, by is a preposition as it tells the relation between the book and noun friend before which it is placed. Here is a list of some prepositions. Above, below, into, beyond, at, since, for. Christine's cat was missing, and she started looking around the house for it. She opened her closet and looked inside, but the cat was not there. She went to the bedroom and crawled on the floor to look under or underneath the bed. She searched the kitchen and bathroom, but found nothing. Since her cat could not be seen anywhere inside the house, Christine decided to go outside to give it a try. Just as she was about to open the doorbell rang. It was her neighbor, Mrs. Chan. Mrs. Chan pointed toward the top of a nearby tree. Look, Christine, your cat is in the tree. Mrs. Chan began to describe how she found the cat. According to her, she was cleaning the windows when she heard a noise coming from the tree in front of her house. She looked up and saw the cat on one of the branches high above the ground. Instead of ignoring the cat, Mrs. Chan decided to tell Christine. Thanks to Mrs. Chan's help, Christine was able to rescue it. At, in, and on. Prepositions of place.
My son, when you finish your studies at school, are you aiming at a place in the university? Yes, father. I'm planning to pursue my graduation in the University of London in England. Where will you stay? I will stay at my friend's cottage on Primrose Hill located on the northern side of Regent's Park in London. Your maternal aunt also lives at Wood Green, a suburban district of North London, England, in the London borough of Haringey. I will definitely keep in touch with her, father.
In the dialogues, the father and his son have used prepositions that speak about a place where something or someone is located. We use in or at with the names of cities, towns, or villages. In most cases, in is used. We use in when we are talking about a place as an area. We use at when we see it as a point. We use on when we think of a place as a surface. Here are some examples of sentences with prepositions of place. My son, when you finish your studies at school, are you aiming at a place in the university? I will stay at my friend's cottage on Primrose Hill, located on the northern side of Regent's Park in London. Your maternal aunt also lives at Wood Green, a suburban district of North London, England, in the London borough of Haringey. Definition. A preposition of place is a preposition which is used to refer to a place where something or someone is located. There are only 3 prepositions of place. However, they can be used to discuss an almost endless number of places. At, a preposition of place which is used to discuss a certain point. In, a preposition of place which is used to discuss an enclosed space. On, a preposition of time which is used to discuss a surface. Let us look at a few sentences. Do you like living in Auckland? I had a cup of tea at Henry's house. She placed her hand on my shoulder. In the first sentence, in is used to talk about a city or place. In the second sentence, at is used as we see Henry's house as a point. In the last sentence, on is used to talk as a surface. Here are few more examples of sentences with prepositions of place. Raj put his hand on his behind, so I couldn't see what was in it. We bought some bread at the supermarket. How long have you lived in this village? Our plane stopped at Mumbai on the way to Iran.
Across, along, over and through, above, below, and under. Aman, had the quarrel between Amit and Rahul ended? Why? What was the quarrel for? Don't you know? The issue was the talk across the country. Their quarrel was over division of property. They lost everything through bad organization. Oh, that's why over the last few days, the issue had been talk of the town. I believe since 2017, there had been severe disruptions along their way. They both could not get along well. Amit made friends with and sought the acquaintance of only those above him in position and involved himself in many illegal things. You mean his actions had always been under media scrutiny? I heard that he always thought that everyone was below him and not up to his standards. As his firm bankrupted last month, so I guess he's back to sitting below the salt with his bad company again.
In the dialogues, the businessmen have used prepositions like across, over, along, above, through, under and below. Here are some examples of sentences with prepositions of place. The issue was the talk across the country. The quarrel was over division of property. They lost everything through bad organization. They both could not get along well. You mean his actions had always been under media scrutiny? I heard that he always thought that everyone was below him and not up to his standards. Usage. We use across when we are talking about something from one side to the other, or extended throughout something. We use over to say on the subject of something. We use along when we refer together with or use to refer to the passage of time or the making of progress. Above is used for higher than. Through is used in the sense by means of or as a result of. Under is used to refer lower in grade or rank, controlled or governed by someone or something. Below is used in the sense of lower than. Let us look at a few sentences. We'd got halfway across before Philip realized he'd left his money at home. There's a concern over the bad image of the legal profession. I have been lucky but I have had my share of heartbreak along the way. Many employers value personality above experience or qualifications. Success in this process was achieved through cooperative effort and wise leadership of Susan. Under her leadership, the magazine's circulation doubled in less than a year. No one below the level of senior manager was present at the meeting. Across in the first sentence means from one side of something to the other. Over in the second sentence tells in the subject of. In the third sentence, along is used to refer to the passage of time or the making of progress. Above in the next sentence expresses higher than. Through in the fifth sentence expresses as a result of. Under is used in the sense of controlled by someone. Below in the last sentence is used to refer lower than.
Between, among, beside, and by. Do you suspect anyone? I'm confused. Among the many friends I made in Delhi were Atul and his daughter. However, there had been a mutual understanding between our families. How can I suspect them? Where were you on 3rd October night? I was in the cafe. Atul's daughter was right beside me at that time. What was the purpose of that meeting? We hadn't met each other for a week, so we were just catching up. She told me that she is getting married and asked me what I was doing. What happened then? She was sitting by the window beside me. All of a sudden, the shooting took place.
In the dialogues, we come across prepositions that tells us about the actual position of objects or someone. Among, surrounded by, from one person to person, one of. Between is used generally for two reference points to show position or connection or division. By, near, beside, by way of, past, by means of. Beside means at or by the side of. Here are some examples of sentences with prepositions of position. Among the many friends I made in Delhi were Atul and his daughter. However, there had been a mutual understanding between our families. Atul's daughter was right beside me at that time. She was sitting by the window beside me. All of a sudden, the shooting took place. Usage: between and among. Between. Between is a position that separates two things. It is used in the middle of two object or location. There is a small creek between two big rocks. My office is between my college and home. Among. Among denotes to the belonging of a thing or a person to a group. It is used when comparing with more than two. Beside. Beside refers in the sense of next to. Do not confuse beside for besides. Besides mean in addition to as. Besides his children, there were present his nephews and nieces. By. By refers to the sense of next to. Let us look at a few sentences. There's a strong link between clean drinking water and reduced infant mortality. The 5 phenomena he chose to tackle in this book are among the great blights on humanity that he believes the internet and technology will help solve. Hilda always has a calculator by her when she balances her checkbook. She stopped in the kitchen when she spotted the skillet of scrambled eggs and a pan of biscuits beside it. In the first sentence, between is used to show connection between the two subjects. In the second sentence, among is used in the sense one of. In the third sentence, by is used to show that Hilda had a calculator handy. In the last sentence, beside is used to talk in the sense near. Here are a few more examples of sentences with prepositions of position. Is there a connection between his arrival and her disappearance? There was a rustling among the crowd, and it again subsided, so that Peter distinctly heard the pleasantly human voice of the emperor saying with emotion, "The police station is by the courthouse, isn't it?" Behind the hut, the dark shapes of the two wagons, with their horses beside them, were discernible, and in the hollow the dying campfire gleamed red.
At, in, and on. Prepositions of time. How would you define the term feminist?
According to our feminists, believe that women are human beings and deserve to be treated with the same dignity and respect as men do.
Back in 1800s, women didn't have the same rights that they do today.
Maybe, but they say women enjoyed equal rights with men in the Vedic period. In the recent years, many changes have been made which shed new light on the empowerment of women.
Do you think women are enjoying social status?
Of course they are. There have been positive practices of women as subject of respect in India, and there have been regressive practices as well.
Such thinking is commendable at the moment.
On Sunday, I'm going to be in Kerala to witness an exceptionally remarkable annual ritual of worshipping women in this month. In the dialogues, we come across the times preposition at, in, and on. We use in with the name of months, years, seasons, and during a period of time to say when something happens. We use at to show a point of time. We use on to show a position in time. Here are some examples of sentences with prepositions on time. Back in the 1800s, women didn't have the same rights that they do today. Maybe, but they say women enjoyed equal rights with men in the Vedic period. In recent years, many changes have been made which shed new light on the empowerment of women. Such thinking is commendable at the moment. On Sunday, I'm going to be in Kerala to witness an exceptionally remarkable annual ritual of worshipping women in this month. Usage. Talking about time. Use at. With clock times. With points of time in the day. With holiday periods, meaning the few days around the holiday. With weekends. Use in. With parts of the day. With months, seasons, years, and centuries. Use on. With dates and specific days. Let us look at a few sentences. In the first 10 years of attempting to make better hybrids, Barley's group made more than 6,000 crossings of wheat. At 3 o'clock, the throne room was crowded with citizens, men, women, and children being eager to witness the great trial. I was born on 27 June 1990 in Delhi, the capital city of India. In the first sentence, in is used to state during a period of time. At in the second sentence is used with clock time. On in the last sentence is used with date. Here are few more examples of sentences with prepositions of time. In 1953, he developed a method to make strains of wheat highly resistant to a single form of rust. At the same moment, the bell struck and school was dismissed. During, for, in, over, throughout, by and until.
Where did you go on your last vacation? I had been to Scotland for a month. During my stay over there, I had visited prehistoric stone circles, standing stones and burial chambers and various Bronze Age, Iron Age and Stone Age remains. There were also many historic castles, houses and battlegrounds, ruins and museums. How was the climate? It was quite moderate and very changeable, but not normally extreme. I was there in autumn. Do you know, friend, that Scotland is the windiest country in Europe throughout the year? Did you enjoy the roadside drive? I have heard people saying that to be like a paradise. And what was your experience like? You were right. Scotland in the fall is the dream of many travelers, and no wonder. From the end of September into November, the autumn landscapes are spectacular and colorful, with bright blue skies, fiery colored leaves, and air that smells crisp and earthy. You can never imagine how one experiences the eye-catching and vibrant trees as they change from green to fiery red, oranges, and yellows, until you have the same mysterious sensations yourself, isn't it? True. Words cannot express such feeling. By November, the autumn ends and it is the beginning of winter.
In the dialogues, the travelers have used prepositions that speak about time. We use for if something is arranged for a particular time. We use in to say something during a period of time. We use during to mention the duration. Throughout is used in the sense as during the whole period of time. By is used to show not later than, at, or before. Until is used to show up to the time that, not before a particular time or event. Here are some examples of sentences with these prepositions. I had been to Scotland for a month. During my stay over there, I had visited prehistoric stone circles, standing stones and burial chambers, and various Bronze Age, Iron Age, and Stone Age remains. I was there in autumn. Do you know, friend, that Scotland is the windiest country in Europe throughout the year? You can never imagine how one experiences the eye-catching and vibrant trees as they change from green to fiery reds, oranges, and yellows, until you have the same mysterious sensations yourself. By November, the autumn ends and it is the beginning of winter. Usage: by, until. We use by, not until, to talk about something that will happen before a particular time or deadline. The movie will be finished by 9 p.m. Note: the movie will be finished until or till 9 p.m. We don't use until or till to talk about quantity or numbers. We use up to. The taxi can take up to 5 people. Note: the taxi can take until 5 people. For or since. We use the preposition for to talk about an amount of time or space, whereas we use since to refer to a point of time. Since can refer to a point after a specific time or event in the past. By. By is used to show not later than, at, or before. Throughout. Throughout is used in the sense as during the whole period of time. In or on. With reference to time, in is used with months, years, season, decades, and century, whereas on is used with days, dates, and special occasions. Let us look at a few sentences. We'll update you on this news story throughout the day. By the time we arrived, the other guests were already there. The kidnappers have given us until October 11th to deliver the documents. They will be able to pay 1,500 rupees a month over 3 years to cover their end of the deal. Most people come to my farm in the afternoon and have travelled a good distance to get there. In all the above sentences, the prepositions like throughout, by, until, over, and in express the time of something. Except, besides, and apart from.
I have come from Happy School to take an interview. I am very glad to know about you and your life. I wanted to bring in a revolution in farming. That's the reason I have just decided to take up agriculture besides my MTech degree. Awesome! How do you decide which products to grow? Basically, I take advice from my father. He's my guide, friend, and above all, a role model. Apart from farming, do you undertake any other business? Of course I do. I own a small-scale industry wherein we prepare homemade pickles, pappers, jams, and juices. Apart from a small team of paid staff, my organization consists of volunteers. Do you grow all your raw ingredients? If no, where do you get your supplemental ingredients? Are they local or organic? Certainly. They are from our farm except for oilseeds.
In the conversation, we come across prepositions such as besides, except, and apart from to define what they want to plus or minus in their discussion. Here are some examples of sentences with prepositions. That's the reason I have just decided to take up agriculture besides my MTech degree. Apart from farming, do you undertake any other business? Certainly, they are from our farm except of oilseeds. Usage, besides, except and apart from are all prepositions. We use them to define what we want to include or exclude in a discussion. Besides, we use besides to add something to the discussion. Except, we use except to subtract something from the discussion. When we use except, we are excluding something from the discussion. Apart from is a combination of besides and except. Apart from can mean including or excluding. Let us look at few more example sentences. Everything was in good order except the boots. People choose jobs for other reasons besides money. Apart from the ending, it's really a good film. In the first sentence, except is used in to talk about things excluding boots. In the second sentence, besides is used to express something in addition to money. In the last sentence, apart from is used in the sense of exclusion. Here are some more example sentences. I haven't invited anybody except Peter. Besides being heartbroken, she felt foolish. Apart from his earnings as a football coach, he also owns and runs a chain of sports shops.
Preposition about on, by, and with.
Hello, Grandpa. I'm very excited about coming to India and I can't wait to see you.
Suzanne, when are you leaving?
Very shortly, I'm sending you a parcel. By the time this parcel reaches you, I will have left the country.
Are you coming alone?
No, Grandpa, I'm accompanied by Susie. On her advice, I had applied for a job and we were successful in getting it. I'm coming to serve my motherland.
Serving your country is a privilege. Living in motherland is the most privilege. Come home soon.
Are you pleased with my decision, Grandpa?
Yes, of course.
In the dialogues, the grandfather and his granddaughter have used prepositions like about, on, by, and with. About is used to express on the subject of or connected with. By is used for not later than the time mentioned before. On is used to show the basis or reason for something. With is used in the sense of concerning in the case of. Here are some examples. I'm very excited about coming to India and I can't wait to see you. By the time this parcel reaches you, I will have left the country. I'm accompanied by Susie. On her advice, I had applied for a job. Are you pleased with my decision, Grandpa? Usage. About, on. About is used when saying what the subject of something is and is slightly more informal, whereas on is used to talk about a particular subject and is slightly more formal. There are some words we use with about: complain, concern, excited, happy, and worry. There are some words we don't use with about: aware, consider, description, discuss, experience, and mention. By or on or in. By, near, beside, by way of, past, by means of, used to show the agent of the action. On top of, touching the surface, used to show a general position, used to show a position in time, about. We say by car, by bus, by plane, etc. But if there is a determiner, example a or an, the, some, my, his, before the noun, we say in or on. With, by means of, in the possession of, in the company of. Let us look at a few sentences. There's something I wanted to ask you about. I submitted a report on poverty. I'm writing with regard to your advertisement in the Times. The book was translated by a well-known author. In the first sentence, about is used to talk about a subject. In the second sentence, on is used to talk about a particular subject formally. In the third sentence, with is used in respect of. In the last sentence, by is used to show the person or thing that does something. Here are few more examples. Naturally, my mother wanted to know all about it. When I saw her, she was standing by the window. There will be new restrictions on the sale of weapons. I saw Bob in town with his girlfriend. Preposition after verbs. What do you aspire to be?
Ma'am, I wish for nothing else. Just serve my motherland.
So, my dear boy, you wish to serve your country.
Yes, It is the dream of my mother, and my father's story of success inspired me to persevere and not give up on my dreams. I have plans to embark on my future goals to change the fate of my motherland.
I'm proud of you, my boy. Remember not to deviate from your future goals.
I will not, ma'am. My parents have given their consent to join the academy. I had passed my higher secondary examination and I also won the football match. Everything is coming up roses. I will definitely achieve my dream.
Wish you a successful life ahead, boy. In the dialogues, we come across many verbs that are followed by particular prepositions. Here are some examples of sentences with prepositions of place. What do you aspire to be?
Ma'am, I wish for nothing else, just serve my motherland.
Yes, it is a dream of my mother and father's story of success inspired me to persevere and not give up on my dreams. I have plans to embark on my future goals to change the fate of my motherland. Remember not to deviate from your future goals. My parents have given their consent to join the academy. Usage. Do. The following verbs take the preposition to after them. Accede, adapt, adhere, allot, allude, apologize, appoint, ascribe, aspire, assent, attain, attend, attribute, belong, conduce, conform, consent, contribute, lead, listen, object, occur, prefer, pretend, refer, revert, stoop, succumb, surrender, testify, yield. From. The following verbs take the preposition from after them. Abstain, alight, cease, debar, derive, derogate, desist, detract, deviate, differ, digress, dissent, elicit, emerge, escape, exclude, preserve, prevent, prohibit, protect, recoil, recover, refrain. With. The following verbs take the preposition with after them. Associate, bear, clash, coincide, comply, condole, cope, correspond, credit, deluge, disagree, dispense, expostulate, fill, grapple, intrigue, meddle, part, quarrel, remonstrate, side, sympathize, trifle, vie. Off. The following verbs take the preposition of after them. Acquit, beware, boast, complain, despair, die, disapprove, dispose, divest, dream, heal, judge, repent, taste. 4. The following verbs take the preposition for after them. Atone, canvass, care, clamor, feel, hope, mourn, pine, start, stipulate, sue, wish, yearn. Let us look at a few sentences. The fall in the number of deaths from heart disease is generally attributed to improvements in diet. Richard was anxious to atone for his thoughtlessness. They should Beware of making hasty decisions. The father expostulates with his son about the foolishness of leaving school. In the first sentence, the verb attribute is followed by the preposition to. The verb atone in the second sentence is followed by for. In the third sentence, the verb beware is followed by of. In the last sentence, the verb expostulate is followed by with. Here are few more examples of sentences with certain prepositions after verbs. One should not attribute human motives to animals. The country's leader has expressed a wish to atone for his actions in the past. Police are warning householders to beware of sneak thieves after a series of burglaries in New York. One of his students expostulate with him about his examination result. 2 and 3 word verbs, word order. Did you know that the burglars broke into Mr. Aman's house last week? Yeah, I came to know through my husband. The thieves got away with his cash box. It was given out that nothing was stolen. He was much cast down by this loss. Police is looking for the evidence. But his evidence did not bear upon the inquiry. In the conversation, we come across multi-word verbs which consist of a verb and one or two particles or prepositions. There are 3 types of multi-word verbs: phrasal verbs, prepositional verbs, and phrasal prepositional verbs. Sometimes, the name phrasal verb is used to refer to all 3 types. Here are some examples of phrasal verbs. Their meanings are given in brackets. Did you know that the burglars entered by force Mr. Amit's house last week? Yeah, I come to know though my husband. The thieves got away, escaped with his cash box. It was given out, published, that nothing was stolen. He was much cast down, depressed by this loss. But his evidence did not bear upon, was not relevant to the inquiry. We must have noticed that many verbs, when followed by various prepositions or adverbs, acquire an idiomatic sense as the above. Definition: multi-word verbs are verbs which consist of a verb and one or two particles or prepositions. Example: up, over, in, down. There are 3 types of multi-word verbs: phrasal verbs, prepositional verbs, and phrasal prepositional verbs. Sometimes the name phrasal verb is used to refer to all 3 types. Usage: 2-word verbs are commonly used with a particular particle, that is preposition or adverb. We can call these 2-word verbs. 3-word verbs are commonly used with an adverb plus preposition. These are 3-word verbs. Phrasal verbs and objects. Many phrasal verbs take an object. In most cases, the particle may come before or after the object if the object is not a personal pronoun, me, you, him, us, etc. If the object is a personal pronoun, me, you, him, us, etc., we always put the pronoun before the particle. We usually put longer objects after the particle. We can use some phrasal verbs without an object. Prepositional verbs. Prepositional verbs have 2 parts, a verb and a preposition, which cannot be separated from each other. Prepositional verbs always have an object which comes immediately after the preposition. The object can be a noun, phrase, a pronoun, or the ing form of a verb. Some prepositional verbs take a direct object after the verb followed by the prepositional phrase. Phrasal prepositional verbs. Phrasal prepositional verbs have three parts: a verb, a particle, and a preposition. The particle and the preposition cannot be separated. Many of these verbs are often used in informal contexts, and their meaning is difficult to guess from their individual parts. Let us look at a few sentences. The company's debts were mounting up, increasing. Do you think he is really likely to go through with his threat? Do it. She brought up 3 kids all alone. Particle before an object. I brought my children up to be polite. Particle after the object. I have made some copies. Would you like me to hand them out? Personal pronoun before the particle. Many couples do not want to take on the responsibility of bringing up a large family of 3 or 4 children. Longer object after the particle. What time did you wake up this morning? Phrasal verb without an object. How can we protect our children from dangerous material on internet? Prepositional verb taking a direct object after the verb followed by the prepositional phrase.